The humans were supposed to die quietly. That was the plan, anyway. My superiors assured us the bombardment would be swift, surgical, and most importantly final. No survivors to tell the tale. No witnesses to carry vengeance across the stars. Just another primitive species wiped from the galactic ledger before they could become a problem. How spectacularly wrong we were. My name is Vextar Kroon, Senior Intelligence Analyst for the Zolarian Imperial Fleet. Or rather, what remains of it. I'm recording this account while hiding in an abandoned mining facility on Proxima Centauri's fourth moon. The humans call it desolation. Appropriate, given what happened here last week. Incoming transmission, chirps my damaged communication unit. I fumble with the controls, hoping it's reinforcements. Instead, I hear Admiral Talamak's gruff voice. Kroon? You still alive out there? Barely, I reply. The wound in my side throbs with each word. What's our status? The Admiral's laugh crackles through static. Status? There is no status. The 8th Fleet is gone. The orbital defenses around Zolar Prime are being dismantled as we speak. And the Galactic Council, they've disavowed all knowledge of our unauthorized genocide attempt. Cowards. I'm not surprised. The Council never had much spine. They agreed Earth needed to be dealt with, but wanted plausible deniability if things went wrong. And, oh, how wrong they went. How did this happen? I ask, though I already know the answer. They were pre-FTL, barely unified. Their technology was centuries behind ours. Was, Talamak emphasizes, past tense. We underestimated them, Kroon, catastrophically. 3 standard months ago, our long-range sensors detected unusual energy signatures from the Sol system. The humans had accidentally stumbled upon quantum displacement technology, the foundation of faster-than-light travel. By our projections, they were perhaps a decade away from functional starships. The Council debated for weeks. Some argued we should welcome them. Others pointed to humanity's violent history, their resource consumption, their alarming rate of technological advancement. Eventually, the hardliners won out. Earth would be sterilized as a preventative measure. I supported the decision. I'd studied Earth's broadcasts, their internet, their conflicts. Humans scared me. Not because they were monsters, but because they were so familiar, like looking at our own species' violent past, but accelerated. They fought constantly, yet advanced relentlessly. They destroyed their environment, yet developed remarkable solutions. They divided themselves along arbitrary lines, yet united against common threats. Most concerning was their adaptability. While most species evolved to fit specific niches, humans changed their environment to suit themselves. They thrive everywhere: deserts, tundra, mountains, oceans. This psychological flexibility extended to their technology. Give humans a new tool, and they'd immediately imagine a dozen ways to use it, including weaponization. So we struck. 117 kinetic bombardment platforms positioned around their world. Simultaneous impact to trigger extinction-level atmospheric disruption. Clean, efficient, irreversible. We expected it to be over in minutes. They detected the platforms, I say to Talamak. Not a question, a statement of what we now know. Somehow, yes, but that's not the real problem, the Admiral replies. The problem is what they did next. What they did next defied all predictive models. First, no panic, no mass hysteria, no breakdown of social order. Instead, with minutes until impact, the humans exhibited coordinated global action unlike anything in their prior history. Their militaries launched everything they had, not at each other, but at our platforms. Nuclear missiles, experimental energy weapons, even repurposed mining lasers. They destroyed 23 platforms before the others released their payloads. Then came the impacts. Billions dead in the first hour. Cities vaporized. Continents cracked. Tsunamis sweeping across what remained. By any reasonable assessment, humanity was finished. Except the bunkers, I whisper. The bunkers, Talamac confirms, thousands of them. Deep underground facilities all over their planet. Some military, some civilian, some we still don't understand. But they were prepared, Kroon, as if they'd been expecting something like this for generations. Human entertainment had obsessed over extinction scenarios, nuclear war, asteroid impacts, pandemics. What we interpreted as morbid fantasy was apparently preparation. They had readied themselves for the end of their world. But the bunkers were just the beginning. 4 days after the bombardment, as our survey ships moved in to confirm Earth's sterilization, we detected energy signatures from the debris field. The humans had orbital platforms of their own, carefully shielded, powered down until needed. Not weapons platforms, research stations. Specifically, quantum displacement research stations. They reversed engineered our FTL tech from the bombardment platforms, I say, still awed by the implications. In 4 days. 78 hours, actually, Talamac corrects me. And not just FTL. They adapted it immediately. The first human counterattack targeted our nearest outpost on Mars. Not with ships, they didn't have those yet. Instead, they somehow transported a crude fusion device directly into the command center using quantum displacement. 2,000 Zolarian troops and administrators died instantly. The message that followed was broadcast on all frequencies, in perfect Zolarian. You tried to exterminate us. You failed. Now we stop being civilized. What happened next makes me question everything I believed about warfare, about intelligence, about sentience itself. The humans didn't build a fleet. They didn't need to. They weaponized quantum displacement in ways our scientists had never imagined. They sent improvised explosives directly into our ships, our bases, our homeworld. When we developed countermeasures, they changed tactics. They transported water into computer cores, sand into engine intakes, corrosive chemicals into life support systems. One particularly devastating attack involved displacing the air from command centers, no damage to equipment, just soldiers gasping, dying at their posts. We never had a chance, Talamac says, interrupting my thoughts. Their adaptability is terrifying, I finish. But there's something else, isn't there? Something you haven't told me. The Admiral's silence confirms it. They found the council records, he finally says. They know which species voted for their extinction and which abstained. They're being selective in their retribution. The implications sink in. The humans aren't just fighting back, they're making distinctions, judging culpability, deciding who deserves punishment and who might be spared. That's when I hear it, the faint hum of quantum displacement. In this very room. They're here, I tell Talamac. I have to. The transmission cuts off as a small device materializes on the floor beside me. Not a bomb, a communication terminal of obvious human design. It activates, projecting the image of a human female. Her skin is dark, her hair cropped short, her expression unnervingly calm for someone whose world has just been shattered. Vextar Kroon, she says, not a question. She knows exactly who I am. Intelligence analyst. Specialization in threat assessment. One of the architects of the attack on Earth. I don't deny it. What would be the point? You drafted the final recommendation to the council, she continues. Your report stated, and I quote, humanity represents an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. Their elimination, while regrettable, is the only prudent course of action. I stand by that assessment, I reply, trying to maintain dignity. Your response only confirms it. The human's expression doesn't change, but something flickers in her eyes. Not anger, something worse. Pity. Our response confirms we're dangerous when attacked, she corrects me. Not that we would have been aggressive otherwise. You made a prediction and then forced its outcome. Bad science. Analyst Kroon. I can't argue with that. We'll never know what humanity might have become if left alone. Are you here to kill me? I ask. If we wanted you dead, you wouldn't have seen me at all. She gestures around the room. This facility has 27 Zolarian survivors. We've known your location for days. Then what do you want? Understanding, she replies, and a messenger. The terminal projects a new image, a real-time view of Zolar Prime. My homeworld looks untouched, peaceful. We could destroy your civilization, the human says. We've demonstrated that capability. But extermination would make us no better than you. The image shifts to show massive ships in orbit around Zolar Prime, human vessels, impossibly advanced for a species that had only achieved FTL travel weeks ago. Instead, we're establishing a new paradigm. The Zolarian Empire is hereby contained. Your military capabilities beyond your home system are revoked. You will provide reparations for Earth's reconstruction. And you will serve as a living reminder of the consequences of genocide. And if we refuse? I ask, though I already know the answer. The human doesn't bother to respond to that. Instead, she says, you misjudged us in fundamental ways, Analyst Kroon. You saw our divisions as weakness rather than the source of our adaptability. You saw our ethical debates as indecision rather than the foundation of our moral progress. Most importantly, you saw our readiness for disaster as paranoia rather than prudence. She leans forward, her face filling the projection. But your most critical error was thinking that a species that survived ice ages, pandemics, world wars, and their own nuclear brinkmanship would simply lie down and accept extinction. The terminal begins to fade, the quantum connection weakening. Wait, I call out. You said you needed a messenger. What message? The human's final words chill me to my core. Tell them humanity is coming. Tell them we remember who voted for our deaths. And tell them we're just getting started. The terminal vanishes, leaving me alone with the knowledge that the galaxy as we knew it has forever changed. In trying to prevent humanity from reaching the stars, we have instead launched them into the cosmos wounded, angry, and terrifyingly capable. And I, who helped orchestrate their intended extinction, must now chronicle their rise. The humans have a saying, I've learned, necessity is the mother of invention. The necessity we forced upon them may have birthed something beyond our comprehension. What have we done? And what will they do next? 3 standard weeks have passed since my encounter with the human emissary. I've been relocated to a monitoring station orbiting Earth, or what remains of it. They call this facility Witness Point. The name is not subtle. Time for your daily observation, announces Brigadier General Morgan Frost, my human handler. She's tall for their species, with silver-streaked auburn hair and eyes that remind me of Zolarian hunting predators. Nothing escapes her notice, especially not my discomfort. Is this really necessary? I ask, knowing the answer. Absolutely. Her smile doesn't reach those predator eyes. You helped orchestrate our apocalypse. The least you can do is watch us rebuild. She escorts me to the observation deck. The massive viewport reveals Earth below a wounded planet still wreathed in dust clouds and stormy weather systems triggered by the bombardment. But through gaps in the atmospheric chaos, I can see something remarkable. They're rebuilding, not just surviving, thriving. How many survived? I ask, not for the first time. Initially, about 200 million worldwide, Frost replies. Mostly in deep bunkers, submarine bases, and hardened mountain facilities. Plus around 3 million off-planet on various stations and lunar habitats. Less than 3% of their population. By any rational metric, human civilization should have collapsed into desperate factions fighting over resources. Instead, and your population now? I already know the answer will disturb me. Holding steady at just over 200 million, she says casually. Birth rates are up. Mortality is down. Turns out when you unite humanity against an external threat, we stop killing each other quite so efficiently. Below us, massive machines crawl across the landscape. Not simple construction equipment, these are terraforming engines, actively cleansing radiation, stabilizing tectonic damage, and accelerating ecological recovery. Technology that would have taken the Zolarian Empire centuries to develop. Your technological progress is impossible, I mutter. No species advances this quickly. Frost laughs. You still don't get it, do you? We've been imagining this scenario for generations. Every disaster movie, every post-apocalyptic novel, every doomsday prepper, they all contributed to a collective thought experiment. How would we survive? How would we rebuild? We've been mentally preparing for this moment since we split the atom. I've reviewed their entertainment archives. And she's right. Humans spent centuries rehearsing the end of the world in their fiction. What seemed like morbid fantasy was actually a distributed cognitive exercise, millions of minds exploring survival scenarios across generations. That doesn't explain the quantum displacement weapons, I counter. You weaponized technology you'd barely discovered. No, comes a new voice from behind us. We weaponized technology we'd thoroughly imagined. Dr. Layla Patel enters the observation deck. She's the chief scientist of what the humans call Project Pushback, their counter-offensive against the Zolarian Empire. Small in stature but imposing in presence, she carries a data tablet displaying equations I can barely comprehend. Your bombardment platforms gave us working models, Patel continues, but we'd theorized quantum displacement for decades. The concept existed in our scientific literature and our science fiction. When we saw it in action, we merely confirmed what we'd already envisioned. This is what terrifies me about humans. They don't just adapt, they anticipate. Their fiction becomes their science. Their nightmares become their weapons. And now, I ask, what happens to the galaxy now that humanity has been unleashed? Frost and Patel exchange glances. It's Patel who answers. We're rewriting the rules, she says simply. The old Galactic Order permitted genocide as policy. That ends today. An alert chimes on Frost's communication device. It's time, she tells Patel, then turns to me. You'll want to see this, Analyst Kroon. History in the making. They lead me to a different section of the station, the Strategic Command Center. Dozens of humans work at various consoles, monitoring screens showing locations across the galaxy. I recognize the Galactic Council chambers on the central display. What's happening? I ask. Humanity's formal introduction to galactic society, Frost replies with that same predator smile. Slightly delayed by your attempted genocide. On screen, a human delegation enters the council chambers. Not the primitive, fearful representatives the council expected, but confident diplomats flanked by guards in advanced combat suits. Their leader, a broad-shouldered man with deep ebony skin and startling blue eyes, approaches the central podium. I am Ambassador Ezekiel Washington of Earth, he announces, his voice resonating through the chamber. I represent the 200 million survivors of an unprovoked genocide attempt. The council chamber erupts in chatter. The Trisalian Arbiter, supreme authority of the council, raises his tentacles for silence. Earth was scheduled for containment due to aggressive tendencies, the Arbiter states. The Zolarian action, while extreme, was officially sanctioned by council vote. Washington doesn't flinch. We are aware of the vote tally. We know which civilizations sentenced us to death and which abstained. We have responded accordingly. The chamber goes silent. 3 weeks ago, Washington continues, humanity was nearly eradicated. Today we control the military assets of the Zolarian Empire, have established defensive positions around 17 formerly threatened worlds, and have demonstrated our ability to reach any location in Council space instantaneously. He pauses, letting the implications sink in. We did not come seeking vengeance. We came seeking justice. Justice? Hisses the Arbiter. You have violated Council authority, seized control of sovereign territories, and threatened established powers. Your actions confirm our assessment of human aggression. Washington shakes his head. No, our actions confirm human response to aggression. There's a crucial difference. He gestures, and the chamber's displays activate, showing footage of Earth before and after the bombardment. Cities turned to ash, oceans boiling, and continents fractured. The Council members shift uncomfortably in their seats. This was not containment, Washington says, his voice hardening. This was extermination, and it was approved by this very body. What do you want? Asks the Arbiter, deflating slightly. 3 things. First, reparations from participating species to rebuild Earth. Second, recognition of humanity as a protected civilization with full Council membership. Third, a new galactic charter explicitly forbidding genocide as a security measure. The Arbiter's skin flushes crimson, a sign of outrage in Trisalian physiology. You dictate terms to the Council? Based on what authority? Washington's response is measured but unmistakably threatening. Based on the authority of a species that survived your best attempt to destroy us, then reached your doorstep 3 weeks later. We don't want to rule the galaxy, but we will not allow genocide to be an acceptable policy option. Not for any species. Back at witness point, I watch the Council chamber erupt into chaos. Some representatives shout protests. Others signal immediate agreement. A few simply flee the chamber. They'll agree to your terms, I tell Frost. They have no choice. We know, she replies, but that's not the point of this exercise. I turn to her, confused. Then what is? Transparency, Patel answers. Humans believe systems work best when everyone knows the rules and consequences. We're setting the new rules openly, not through backroom deals. And the consequences for breaking these new rules? I ask. The image on the main screen changes, showing the Zolarian homeworld, my homeworld. A massive human ship hovers in orbit, surrounded by what were once our defense platforms. Proportional response, Frost says. Not extinction. Not torture. Not eternal imprisonment. But clear, meaningful consequences for crimes against sentience. I understand now. The humans aren't just introducing themselves to galactic society, they're remaking it in their image. A society where genocide brings punishment, but not reciprocal genocide. Where power is tempered by restraint. It should reassure me. Instead, it makes me more afraid. Because I've studied human history. Their moral frameworks evolve. Their definitions of justice change. What happens when this current mercy seems insufficient to future generations? You're worried about what comes next, Patel observes, reading my expression. Wouldn't you be? I reply. Your species now wields enough power to reshape galactic civilization. Power corrupts, that's true for all sentient beings. Including Zolarians? Frost asks pointedly. Touché. A new alert sounds. On screen, the Council vote is displayed. Ambassador Washington's demands have been accepted by a narrow margin. Humanity is now officially recognized as a Council species, with all associated protections and privileges. Is one complete, Frost murmurs, then notices my questioning look. There's more to rebuilding civilization than politics, analyst Kroon. She gestures to a different screen showing Earth again. The terraforming operations have accelerated. Vast areas glow with energy signatures I don't recognize. And in orbit around the damaged planet, massive construction projects are underway. What are those? I ask, pointing to the orbital structures. Gateways, Patel explains. fixed quantum displacement portals, much more energy efficient than one-off transportations. Once completed, they'll connect Earth to every major system in the galaxy, including Zolar Prime. The thought of instant human access to my homeworld is terrifying. Especially Zolar Prime, Frost confirms. Your people need to understand that distance will never protect them from consequences again. I feel a chill, not from her words, but from the casualness with which she delivers them. To humans, reshaping the fundamental nature of interstellar travel and politics is simply the next logical step after surviving extinction. Come with me, Patel says suddenly. There's something else you should see. She leads me to a restricted section of the station I've never visited before. After several security checkpoints, we enter a laboratory unlike anything in Zolarian science. Swirling energy patterns dance around central containment fields. Equations scroll across holographic displays in three-dimensional patterns. What is this? I ask, though I'm not certain I want the answer. Project Genesis, Patel replies. The bombardment didn't just crack continents, analyst Kroon. It shattered the fabric of reality in several locations. The quantum displacement weapons your people deployed created tears. Tears in what? In everything, she says simply. Space, time, dimensional barriers. We're not entirely sure yet, but we're learning. She gestures to a containment field where something impossible hovers, a fragment of nothingness. Not empty space, not darkness, simply an absence of reality itself. Your people accidentally gave us access to something beyond normal space-time, Patel continues. We're calling it the void, and it changes everything we thought we knew about physics. Frost steps forward. Do you understand what this means, Analyst Kroon? Your attempt to destroy us didn't just fail, it accelerated our development by centuries, possibly millennia. I do understand. The implications are staggering. A species that could weaponize quantum displacement in days might unlock the secrets of reality itself in months. What would they be capable of in years? In decades? Why show me this? I ask. Why reveal such technology to the very analyst who recommended your extinction? Patel's expression softens slightly. Because you need to understand why genocide is not just morally wrong, it's practically foolish. Existential threats force adaptation. Adaptation drives innovation. Innovation creates power. You didn't just fail to kill us, you transformed us. As if to emphasize her point, the void fragment pulses, sending cascading energy patterns across the laboratory. For a moment, I glimpse something through the tear. Another place. Another time? Another universe entirely? We're offering the Zolarian people a choice, Frost says. Join us in building something new, or remain forever contained, watching as the galaxy evolves beyond you. And if we choose cooperation, I ask cautiously, then we'll help you evolve too, Patel responds. Humanity doesn't need subjects or servants. We need partners who understand that survival depends on cooperation, not elimination. Later, back in my quarters, I record this second entry in my ongoing report. The humans know I'm documenting everything. They encourage it. They want their story told not as conquerors or victims, but as survivors who changed the rules. Admiral Talamak contacts me via secure channel. He looks decades older than when I last saw him weeks ago. The Council has ratified the human terms, he reports grimly. The Zolarian Empire is officially under supervision pending cultural rehabilitation. Whatever that means. It means we have a choice, I tell him. Adaptation or obsolescence. You sound like you admire them, he accuses. Do I? Perhaps. Not for their technology or their sudden rise to power, but for something else entirely, their restraint. They could have wiped us out as we tried to do to them. Instead, they chose justice tempered with mercy. I respect them, I clarify, and I fear them. Both reactions are appropriate. What happens now? Talamac asks the question that every species in the galaxy must be asking. I look out my viewport at the wounded Earth below, where impossible machines rebuild a civilization that refused to die. Beyond it, the first quantum gateway nears completion, its massive structure gleaming in the sunlight. Now we adapt. Now we learn. Now we accept that the galaxy has changed forever. Because humanity survived, humanity remembers. And humanity is just getting started. When we sought to exterminate them, they declared, "Now we stop being civilized." But the truly terrifying thing about humans isn't their capacity for vengeance. It's this: even when they stop being civilized, they never stop being human. They create amid destruction. They build while traumatized. They think about tomorrow, even when today brings apocalypse. And now, thanks to our failed genocide, the entire galaxy will learn what that means. Their response wasn't just survival. It was transformation of themselves, of us, of everything. May whatever gods exist help us all.